But you know what, Stacey? That's called winning and losing.
Yes, sir. Nobody remembers second place.
That's called winning and losing in life. And nobody wants to be with a loser. You know, I mean, and nobody, and you know what? There's so many people out there, you know, actually losing.
Yeah.
Actually losing, hopeless.
And not only losing, but accepting loss. We all lose in life. I mean, we can't always win, get what we want, but accepting losing.
You know what, man? I love that commercial back in the day. And everybody used to kind of say it in little cliches and different circles. And they would say, I've fallen and I can't get up. You know, you can fall, but get up.
But that lady was 89 and on a walker.
We got folks 19 years old that failed and they gave up on life.
Right.
It's over with. You know, just gave up on life.
It's just getting started.
You know, start destroying your lives. Start putting the penitentiary didn't give you a felony, or the system didn't give you a felony. You start putting felonies in your life, like kids too early in your life.
Right.
You know, bad relationships too early in your life. Trying to be grown too early in your life. You 14 years old, you want to do what men doing that's 34.
But we both know when you act like a man, you get treated like a man.
Well, that's most of the time. But then when you get in that trouble, you want to be a kid again.
Right, and there's no going back.
And they're not gonna, you know, and so you know, I mean, it's not that many people that's gonna wrap their arms around you when you're losing. So understand that you can hang around a bunch of losers, but it ain't too many successful people want to hang around a bunch of losers. You know, and I like people that's going through stuff, because I always like to encourage them to be better.
And that's kind of you're capturing what Pastor Johnson kind of spoke about it, as far as who you surround yourself with, and how important that is, your associates.
But I understand that people will wear your battery pack out and take advantage of you when you're trying to do good, right. When you try to help them. You know, they will take advantage of you. You know, I remember walking out the radio station this morning, and a young man, you know, he hit his stomach. He said, I left my charger in there. I had to go back and get it there. So I passed him up twice, and the second time I come past him, he tapped his stomach. He said, man, he said, I'm trying to get me something to eat this morning. And it was just spontaneous. I went straight in my pocket, gave him $5, because I really gave my $5 to somebody that really needed it.
Right. You should have got him a meal, though.
To somebody that stopped by. I didn't have time. I was running late. I was running late this morning, but I want to trust. You got to trust God sometimes with that.
I understand.
Trust God with that sometimes.
I agree.
And so once you give it away, it ain't yours no more. It's God's, and it's gone. And if He don't do the right, if He go buy some crack with that $5, then the Lord gonna hold him accountable, not me.
And that's a big point. Accountability, having those broad shoulders, and if you do it, you did it. Own it. Ownership.
That's right.
And you being an entrepreneur, the Whip Hair Designs, 904 North 4th Street, and then 2 here at Williams Memorial, and even dating back farther than that, the Whip Cafe, Taste of Soul, you and Mother Rolene. Ownership, and how you branded yourself and identified yourself as, I'm a business owner, I own the place, and how big that is, and how we can all kind of take that as an example and say, okay, let's own our actions. Let's own our reputation and credibility and character.
You know, you mentioned the Whip Cafe with a Taste of Soul, and me and my mom ran that business, and we won, I think it was 2003, Channel 15's, we was the 3rd cleanest restaurant in town.
And for everybody who doesn't know, Champaign-Urbana, because of the university primarily, has more bar and restaurants per capita than any place.
Oh yeah.
So that's a huge commendation for you.
Yeah. But you know, and a lot of times back in that during that era of that business time, you know, we was doing pretty good in our barber shop, but our restaurant wasn't doing that well. So I remember taking my mom on a ride, and my mom, she loves going to the store in the morning. She hates getting out of her schedule. But she was the lead person that cooked those meals, those lunchtime meals that Mr. Percy used to like. And so I was looking at the paperwork, and we was looking at the paperwork, doing the books one night. I was talking to a guy, and we were in the hole. I mean, we were in the holes with that restaurant. I mean, really in the hole. So I went to talk to a mentor of mine that I knew, and I really still look up to this guy. But sometimes you can't go off everybody's message. Everybody, the they have might not be for you.
Right.
And it wasn't for me for what he said.
Right.
But I went to him, I said, man, we're in the hole with this restaurant, man. I'm sinking a lot of money into it. He said, man, if I was in the hole, that type of money, I would fire my mama.
And I know you never do that.
I rolled away from his place, his business. I thought about it going down Neal Street. I thought about it. By the time I hit university, I said, man, forget what dude talking about. I ain't fired my mama. I love my mama.
That's not a good idea.
But you know one thing about it? That's because people focused on money.
Right.
You can't be focused on money. But we'll say, but we got the words coming out of our mouth. What would Christ do? You know, yeah, that sound good. But when it come down to, you know, a few $1,000s, what I gonna do? No. What I did with my mama is I sat my mama down and I told her, we gonna ride this sale out together, girl. We gonna ride it out together. And when I look at my mama now, and we be at a family reunion, or sometimes she's talking with her brothers and sisters and talking about a good experience or a good memory of the restaurant era.
That restaurant.
It's $1 million smile.
She glowed.
Because
10 million. Because 10 million.
Yeah, because when my mama, when she was used to cook and I was a kid, she'd be in there singing a church hymn and she'd be cooking and she said, man, this is what I ever learned to cook. It tastes so good. I need my own restaurant.
Right.
So I thank myself and thank the guys that helped me, being able to help me help my mama to be able to make that bridge that my mama was able to cross to have that $10 million experience. Some things in life ain't gonna come to you with money.
And see, like you said, you made a great point, Brother Williams, is that money is a desire, and it's emotional.
What the Bible says.
But love and service is ingratiating.
What the Bible says is money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
And see, and I understand that because I sit on a bunch of different committees and a bunch of different boards, and it's only money that make people move around. When you ain't talking about no money, you just in there just lip boxing, just talking because you want to feel good. That don't make people move.
They start yawning, don't they?
Oh, but you get to talking about $10 million. Oh, they start putting Visine in the eyes, get me another cup of coffee, you know, all that type of stuff. You know, because we're money orientated, but we're not love and kindness. What we talked about earlier.
And compassion.
We're not that orientated. You know, don't mess with me and don't ask me for nothing.
But how simple is that? What does that mean for you during that dash? Is that what you want to be known for?
You know what it can do for you? It can make people not show up at your homegoing service. You have one of the loneliest homegoing services there is in the history of homegoing services. Mm-hmm. I mean, how do you want your homegoing service to be? So treat people right with some respect and dignity, and treat them like you want to be treated.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, because we see a lot,
yeah.
and I can tell a lot when I look at people. I can tell whether you're a good person or you aren't.
It tells.
You
Your
know,
lifestyle and your choices.
I can tell whether you care really about your loved one or you didn't by the choices that you made during this consultation.
Right.
I can tell, and we can also tell, you know, the people that love somebody, but maybe on a budget, or maybe don't have no budget, that really need that help, and we still give them the right hand of fellowship.
That was great.
Still give them the right hand of fellowship to come on in, sit on down, let's hear your story. We might tell you, you know, we just can't do it for free, but we'll sit down here and we'll take you through the process, take you through the steps to be able to get you to the next point so you can get to some healing.
Sure.
We might provide you that counselor that you might need, put you with one of our ministers to just wrap their arms around
One of
you.
our funeral directors, they're always on call, 24/7, 365.
Yeah. But you know, just being there for your neighbor, just being there for your fellow man. And I think the military, I mean, we get cut so low on that totem pole of just respect because of the fact that, you know, we're taught to leave nobody behind.
Sure.
But in the world, when you come back to the world in the streets, either get on my bandwagon or get away from me.
Get on or get off.
You know, we so quick to cut people
What
off.
about just give me a second? Let me readapt to my new environment. It kind of happens like that with the prison system as well. We hear a lot of that at the whip. And
You know, life is like double dutch. You just got to jump right on in. You got to jump right on in. You don't get time enough to mourn. You don't get time enough to get some time off. You don't get time enough sometimes to do all that type of
There's
stuff.
no perfect time, is there?
No, you just don't get that no more. You know, I mean, we're in an era where gas prices are almost $4. You know, if you got any habits, cigarettes, and maybe drinking and some other thing, then that's right there.
You still got to play the lottery.
Then you got people standing up holding the Bigfoot line up for the lottery.
Right.
They got 50 members waiting for a pie to drop out of the sky.
How much was that? 100 million?
And then somebody winning in Florida
right.
or some other place, you know. But you know, I mean, it's like just waiting on some major miracle dream to happen.
Drop in your lap.
And you haven't put no work into it for you to work on it.
Yeah, and I think that's why I'm really so happy and pleased that you decided to go off into 212, just to not be one of those people that are successful and want to hoodwink somebody, you know, but really tell people that action without faith is in vain. And you have to put in an effort and a constant energy towards getting what you want, but the trade-off is exponential rewards, meaning you go after an objective, but then you've done so much towards your goal that it spills over for you into more than you ever dreamed of.
You know what, Stacey, what my brother Hub would say right then is have your motives pure. Your motives got to be pure when you're going into something. You know, a lot of times with some of these relationships, they don't work out because each individual, whether the man or the woman, they go into the relationship trying to beat the other out.
Right.
You know, they're looking at what you got, what your house is.
Right.
Oh man, girl, he got a house. Oh girl, you seen this car? Or the guy said, man, oh girl she got a bad crib. Well, that's her crib.
Right.
For her and her kids, probably.
Right.
You should be coming to say, girl, I can make you step your game up with your house. I do landscaping. I can build a deck. Or you don't need no help with them bills, do you? See, that's when people coming into you with love. And they're coming into to help you. And it's called being a helpmate. Helpmate.
Right.
Not no weight.
Right.
Not another vice. You know, not a bill.
Right. Like, that's the last thing you need is another problem, right?
You come into the relationship with all this damage.
Right.
You know, it's
damaged but not done.
Damaged but not done, but wait till you get some of your problems, you know, some of the damage is fixed up, you know.
Yeah.
You know, go to the Life's Auto Body Shop first.
Right. Check in.
And get yourself fixed up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, don't come and just tear somebody else's stuff all the way down. And so, you know, in saying that, you know, I see that a lot in the community. I see people lashing out at other people because their life ain't going good. They at the 212-degree boiling point.
Going the wrong way.
So they try to sit you off into the 212-degree boiling point. You know, I was just talking to a young man last night. He went to a local club and he got into it with some bouncers and some more people.
Right.
But see, the guy stepped on his shoe.
Right.
But see, his thing was the guy stepped on his whole foot and all his ankle and everything. And so he said, man, he wouldn't say he was sorry. And then he said, well, man, I don't think I deserve to get you sorry. So he did some other kind of movement which brought some more guys to his rescue. And then he said he snapped. See, he let the devil set him off.
Yeah.
He let him set him off to get to his boiling point. It takes two to tango.
Yes, sir.
I told you what you supposed to do before you do that, before you snap like that. Tell somebody, I want no trouble.
And you know, Sean, we call that pause and reflect. And with pausing and reflecting, if we could do that one or two more times a day, times how many ever days, how many more possibilities come into your mind that may be better remedies for an immediate situation instead of just snapping. Pausing and reflecting.
But you know, that go back to the piece of Pastor Johnson said, watch the company that you keep.
Yeah.
If you know somebody is over somewhere and they know how to trigger your buttons, make you get to 212 degrees in 2.2 seconds.
Right.
You stay away from that person. If you know old girl calls the police on you and she always calls you back to the house, get away from that person. Because anybody trying to call the police on you don't mean you no good. They here to kill, steal, and destroy. Anytime somebody is not
or put you in that situation where you do something that results in a police action.
You got to get away from. You got to get away from them type of people.
Right.
You got to get away from anybody that don't want to see you doing good. Anybody that don't love you like you love yourself. You got to slam the door on them. Pastor John said, bam, slam the door on them. Make them beat their feet. Tell them that you a child of God, you know, and that a child of God, you're not gonna let somebody pull you off your square, you know. And you know, it brought me back to a song that used to go down in the club, and I used to always say, man, why don't they play that song? And it said, if security step up, we're gonna crush them fools, you know, and this is why we hot, you know. And I'm like, where is the rap music going to?
In the trash.
But I knew it's another vice of the devil to increase your boiling temperature. It's simmering you. It gets you simmered. And then when you're hearing that in the club, and then after alcohol and all those other things that the sins that you didn't pick from, the goodie bag of sins, like Halloween bag of sins. Oh, I want the red one. Oh, I want the shiny silver. You know, give me the gold sin, and I'm gonna pick that one. And after you get all that, then you're damaged. Now, I ain't saying you can be done, but it's a lot of folks that don't get a chance to get back, to get done, to get themselves fixed up, because we deal with people that don't get another chance.
Sure.
You know, sometimes you might OD while you're picking them goodies. The goodie might not be, it might be the goodie mob out there to get you. So you gotta watch what you do. Watch the people that you hang around with. Watch watch the sins that you select. Be selective. You know what I'm saying?
Can't be moderate.
Be selective out there. You know, I mean, we were sitting with Mr. Tom Henderson today, and thank the Lord for our funeral director, Tom Henderson, 87 years old, strong. You know, always reaching out, helping somebody, take care of the veterans. I mean, just, you know, don't see racial color lines. But one thing about it, I brought 2 vitamin waters in the water. He said, well, how much sugar is in this?
A whole lot.
And he grabbed it because he wants to read it. He wants to make sure he knows what he's putting in his body. Because you are what you eat.
And your body is your temple.
It's your temple. You are what you eat. If you run around and you just a nag and a sloppy type person that don't care about your eating habits and this, that, and other, expect to have high blood pressure.
We can still get you insured, though.
You don't want to work out. You don't want to walk around the block. You know, you don't want to do anything that's healthy. What I learned in the military, a healthy body can defend anything. But if your body is unhealthy, you're going to make it very, very hard for a call intern to help you out over there at the doctor's office. You know what I'm saying? So you got to help those people be able to help you. You know, if you keep on going back into a bogus relationship that you knew was bogus in the door, you know what I'm saying? But you trying to hold on to it. Sometimes we stay places way too long. Sometimes we need to bend, like Bishop said, you got to run. When you know it ain't the right environment, you got to run. Ain't nothing wrong with sucking your pride up and taking up and running. I did it plenty of times. I did it sometimes even when somebody was trying to pull me off my square to fight or something. Well, see, I know, what my buddies done, they say, oh, Sean, you was scary, you was this, you was that. But see, I know where the Lord got me going. No, I know where the Lord, see, sometimes people will put you in a position because they don't care about where they going in life. I care about where I'm going, and I care about the people that's directly I'm affected, that's around my lives. You know, that's around my life. My mama, my kids, my wife, you, Lord, all of them got people that depend on me. So it's other people that got families, and people depend on you. But what you saying, bump your family, bump your kids, let somebody else raise your kids? You know, I got a friend that he thought he was gonna get some probation, but that ain't what the plan was. That ain't what man's plan was for him. And he ended up going to get incarcerated for about 4 years. But I know that guy. And I know that he's hurt. I know he's sick because he loved his kids. He loved his kids. I mean, to death. So it's gonna be like 40 years to him because he's gonna miss his kids, his daughters growing up. You know, he's gonna miss that time with them. You know, when you know that you know better, do better. Because you can't get nothing out of wrong but wrong. But at the same time, the domino effect that you talked about, I mean, that effect of the kids now. One of my other guys that I know, his son, I talked to his son, And his dad caught a drug case and said he wasn't doing nothing. But he did. But I talked to his son. I said, look, son, I said, pick your head up. That was what your dad did. That was a mistake he made in his life. But you don't have to make the same mistake. You ask the Lord to help you pick your self-esteem up. Because you can learn from that mishap that your dad had. You can turn it into a straight positive and be a blessing for your other brothers and your sisters. Because they're going to look at the way you taking this. Sure. To encourage themselves. You know, to encourage, so you can be encouragement to somebody else, a brother or a sister.
And to dovetail off on that, and too, Sean, speaking about two of our friends that we know and that have been customers throughout the years, and just friends of yours in the community, like the risk, the attempt, the failure, and then ultimately the success. So I know that you would probably say that you would tell the young man too, don't stop taking chances. You know, don't stop. You know, keep stepping out there, taking chances, because with that ultimate success will be a backhand of failure too. So that while that may be a temporary setback, that can be an ultimate victory.
Oh, well, you know,
for the young man and the family.
You know what? I ultimately,
like an Adrian Peterson or Mikel Lashore, or
you know, ultimately, like that. You know, ultimately, the guy got a plan for us all.
Sure.
And he got us going through the shadows of the valley of death. So don't fear no evil while you're going through something. And that's what I tell my buddy to encourage him. You know, when he calls me, you know, look, you're going to go through a little something, but I bet he won't have to repeat and be a repeat offender. I bet he won't have to go down that road no more.
Be a success.
And he'll be a success story when that's over with. At the end of that road, when you get to see that light, it's going to be a success story. So it's hard trying to go through something when it's first starting out.
Sure.
Because it's the unknown.
Those days are long.
It's the unknown. And it's hard taking that faith walk. That faith walk. But to the young man, I think it's going to be encouraging for him, for on the other side, for his family, because I think he's a mature. It's going to make him much more mature. We see it all the time in the funeral home business when people come to us, you know, and they lose a loved one. They're kind of, you know, distraught and they don't really know a lot that's going on in that and during that initial consultation.
Like shock.
But after we meet and we try to bring that personalization to it and make them play a part, make them, you know, talk about that loved one and get all of that out of them. And at the end of that process, it makes them more mature.
You know, to put some structure to that, pause and reflect. Do a lot of that, don't we?
Oh, a lot of pause and reflect. A lot of taking the time out, sit back, listen, you know, and then reflect a little bit and interject, and then let them interject. A lot of times you just gotta really just sit back and lay back and let people talk to you.
Just spill it out.
That testimony service. They want to tell their testimony. They want to tell their story. You know, and everybody got a story. I got a story. You got a story. Lori has a story. You know, all of you guys have stories. You know, and it ain't the problem. It's the solution. Don't spend more time dealing with the problem than you do on your solution. Work on the solution, because it ain't what happened, it's what I'm going to do about what happened. You know, I mean, so that way you don't stay damaged too long. Because damage too long brings on stress. That brings on high blood pressure. That brings on ultimately death. We want you to live. That way that you can live and be more abundant and prosperous and out here, you know, helping us help folk and talking to the young folks and encouraging people, and you get a new car and I might get me a new car and I pat you on the back and you pat me on the back, and boy, what a time we'll have when we all can get together. But this here walking around thinking you so much of this and I ain't that, and you know, and then around here talking about people that you don't even know. Meet these people. And if you got a problem with your brother or sister, be willing to go to him in private counsel and say, I got a problem with you, bro.
Some more positivity as opposed to negativity.
Yeah.
Because of the power of the tongue and what you say. You become those thoughts.
You know, I don't get mad at anybody else for what the African American community doing. I get mad at the African community about it. Me personally.
And us personally.
Just
we can always. Everybody can do more.
Me personally. And so, you know, so when we get to talking in different other groups, I always say that to some of the brothers because I want them to, because I want us to be better.
Right.
You know,
why would we hear otherwise?
Because it's an action step. That's an action step.
I love that.
And if Dr. Benjamin Cox can do it, and Rosa Parks can put their life on the line, And then, you know, these soldiers can put their life on the line, men and women. What makes you so good you can't put your life on the line for something? What makes you can't stand for something? If I could put 6 years on hold on my life to dedicate it to my country, because when I threw my right hand to God and country for foreign and domestic, I really meant it. And when we got ready to go to Kuwait, we cried, but we were ready to go and make the ultimate sacrifice, and that's putting your life, that's putting your mouth, money where your mouth at. My brother Joe Stovall say some skin in the game.
I love that.
You got some skin in the game, but you don't cry about nothing if you ain't out here trying to do nothing about nothing. You know, you're always arguing about why gas this and why the city ain't doing this and why the school ain't doing that and why we ain't got more programming. But here you are, a couch potato.
Right.
You don't go to nothing. You don't participate in nothing. You don't know a family reunion. You don't know last time you've been to a family reunion to even know your family. But you know, as we get ready to close, we're winding down, and as we get ready to close,
www.williamsmemorialservices.com, the web hair design 904, Lori Cooper, website technician and audio and video, Williams Memorial.
And I'd like to send big shots out.
EFT 90.1 FM.
Big shouts out to those people at EFT, but big shouts out to all our listeners out there and all our viewers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for all the Facebook comments. I really appreciate everybody that we have still served in this community with families. I thank the Lord for the Alex J. Cobb funeral and that family and just that memorialization family, because we impacted a lot of people there. And not just me, our staff, that whole family, those singers, Pastor Vince and Pastor McGee, and just that community. And let people see that we can come together. What a time, what a time, what a time when we all come together with great motives and pure motives. I thank you, and you guys be safe.